Namaste. Oh, I am so glad to be with you again today. And I'm going to be talking about the secret to success, especially entrepreneurs and women in particular, because I happen to be one. And so I can chat about that. And if this is your first time here, or you are a longtime listener or subscriber to Live, Love, Engage, I just want to say welcome. Welcome, newbies. Welcome back. And for those of you who are new, I am Gloria Grace, spiritual alignment coach who helps women entrepreneurs break the self-sabotage cycle so you can create a life and business with more influence, impact, and income. Because let's face it, we need to make money. We need to be able to make money in order to pay the bills, in order to be able to be generous, and to be able to contribute where we see fit in the world. So in order to do that, in order to be able to make a good living and to be able to be generous, you have to be successful in business. And so I want to share with you today a little bit about that. And in particular, I wanted to start off with talking a little bit about what successful people have in common. What do successful business owners have in common? And I think from what I've seen and what I've experienced in my own life is that everyone who is successful shares a desire to become better at what they do. Because it's just normal. You want to be able to provide for your clients. You want to be able to provide the best product and service. So in order to do that, you've got to keep striving to get better, to constantly improve yourself. And successful people also have a drive to conquer new challenges. And in order to do that, one of the best ways to do that, to be able to not only provide, to become better at what you do and to be able to conquer new challenges. Here's the secret, folks. The secret to success, it's investing in yourself. Yeah, actually investing in yourself. Of course, you want to invest in your business. Of course, you're going to do all the other things to make your business successful, but it starts with you. And in fact, I found this wonderful quote. It's from author, coach, and speaker John Maxwell. And he once said, "Show me a successful person, and I'll show you someone who's serious about personal development." And I can tell you in my own life that I'll share with this. I once invested in myself, but it was for my business. It was a program to learn how to do masterminds, how to run masterminds. And as part of this program, they included personal development work because the gentleman who ran this knew how important it was. In fact, his background was actually in personal development. And so he knows how important it is for you to be able to really get to know yourself well, to be able to let go of any limiting beliefs and things that might keep you stuck. And so personal development is so, so important. And I want to share with you the flip side. So what happens if you don't invest in yourself, the cost of that? And I will tell you, again, this is speaking from personal experience, when I didn't invest in myself, when I first started running my business, is that you can get stuck. You can be stressed out. Certainly, you find that you're not managing your day-to-day activities very well. And frankly, your business doesn't grow. You've got to be able to invest in your business. Now, there's a saying, they say that, it takes money to have money. You don't want to go heavily into debt. So I'm not suggesting that, but you do have to be smart you have to be smart in general about where you are investing and what you are investing in order to help your business. Other ways that this shows up when you're not investing in yourself is that you could wind up losing the customers you already have because, again, if you're stressed out or you don't have a team in place, you maybe you're not providing good customer service. Things can fall by the wayside. You're not following up with people. And it comes down to not having a support system. And at the beginning, I understand. When you're first starting out and you're running a business, it seems like impossible to be able to, say, hire a virtual assistant. And not doing that can really hurt you. But I will tell you that part of the reason why, and this was certainly in my case, why I was reluctant to hire a virtual assistant the first time I did that, is I had this misconception that I had to do everything myself. And then my business was me and nobody could do it as well as me. And does any of this familiar? I've ever had those thoughts in the past. I I guarantee you it's not unusual to have those thoughts. There are probably several people out there who have had those thoughts, and God bless them. However, I know from my circumstances, and again, this goes back to growing up, where I grew up in a house where I couldn't trust what was going to happen from day to day. And we had, my dad was an alcoholic, and so you didn't quite know what shape he was going to be in from day to day. And so living in that environment, it created in me the belief that I had to be very independent. I had to look after myself. I had to do things myself if I wanted to make sure that they would get done. And I couldn't rely on anybody else to necessarily do it. So I became very independent. That is a great quality in a lot of circumstances. When you're running a business, it can sometimes hinder you, though. And it can keep you from growing. Again, as I said, because if you continue to just do everything yourself, that can get exhausting. And in fact, I want to share with you some of the reasons why we don't want to invest in ourselves is partly it's that fear of losing control, not trusting. Uh, Sometimes it's as simple as not believing in yourself or thinking that you're not worthy or that you're not good enough. So a lot of times it's you're waiting to have the money to do it. And that's where that comes back into the issue where sometimes you feel like you can't afford to hire someone because you don't have enough money coming in. And you don't have to hire someone full time. You could possibly hire someone for as little as 5 hours a week. There are virtual assistants out there who would work 5 hours a week. That's 1 hour a day. And you could probably spend $25 a week on that. And if you give up maybe a latte or something, you have the money to pay for that. But my point is, when you prioritize yourself and invest in hiring someone, then that frees up time for you to spend talking with potential clients, following up with people, and being able to then generate the revenue, and oftentimes a lot more revenue that would more than pay for the person that you're hiring. But I'm really talking about investing in yourself. That's a little bit more of investing in the business. Again, it comes down to investing in, and well, actually, now that I think about it, hiring someone is investing in yourself because you have deemed yourself worthy enough to hire someone. Yeah. I was going to say it was about investing in the business, but I think hiring someone is investing in yourself in the fact that you are now declaring that you're going to be a leader in your business. And that takes guts. And so again, sometimes the reason why we don't either invest in our business or invest in ourselves and hiring a coach, for instance, going to a workshop that will help you in your business. Reason we don't do that is perhaps we're just afraid. We're afraid that we're not perfect, that we have to be perfect first in order to do that. Or it's just not the right time. I'm busy. I'm doing all these other things, and I just don't have the time to attend a 3-day workshop. I get that. A lot of times it's also about you want to be able to have a guarantee on the return on investment. And so you don't invest in something because you're not sure that it's going to truly benefit you. And again, I'm going to share an example from my life. That mastermind program I talked to you about, that was the biggest expense that I had done for me, for my business, in the entire time that I was in business. It was a lot of money. Okay, it was $20,000, I think. It was a lot of money. And I knew I wanted to do it. I knew in my gut that I needed to do it, but it was scary shelling out that much money for it without necessarily, I mean, yes, of course, they guaranteed that you were going to make, well, they didn't guarantee per se, but they said, they gave you the opportunity that you would be able to make that money back. I didn't exactly. However, I don't regret investing in that program because it paid dividends in other ways, ways that I'm still taking use of today. It taught me how to facilitate masterminds. Now, even though I don't have a current group going at the moment, I have used those skills I ran a networking group for a while in the Orlando, Florida area, and we would do masterminding. And in fact, right now I am running a group. I have started my own group that's called Soulful Women's Network. And we meet once a month, either online or in person, and we do masterminding. So the skills that I learned there have served me even to this day. Let's see, I'm just trying to think if I have some notes here. I'm trying to see if there are any other fears. Well, oh, yeah, one of the other reasons why we don't necessarily invest in ourselves is because we're undervaluing our strengths. So we feel like we have to know more about a particular subject before we invest in maybe this other coach is offering a program for you. So for instance, in the mastermind example, I might have said, "Oh, you know what? I don't think I'm ready to invest in this program. Oh, actually, I've got a better one. I've got a better idea. I have this. I just remembered this." I was at a workshop one time and someone was offering a program to do videos. And it sounded really great. I was really thought that, oh, yeah, I need this. And at the same time, I just couldn't justify the cost. So there was the first thing. I couldn't justify the cost. Wasn't sure I would get that return on investment. And I decided that I bet this person is going to continue to offer it. I'm not going to do it right now. So I did do it several years later when I was ready. So that sometimes happens. And I will tell you, it's just really important to invest in yourself. And I'm going to tell you why. So, number one, it challenges you to new heights. And in fact, when you do invest in yourself, not only will it challenge you, so certainly the mastermind I was in, that program, not only challenged my budget, but it also challenged me and led me to really stand out as a leader, which I used to say I was a reluctant leader, even though I've been a leader in different areas of my life. I used to be a Girl Scout leader, as an example. I was a substitute teacher for a while at my kids' school. So I've been a leader, but again, this is why personal development is so good. There was still this underlying feelings, these underlying beliefs in myself that I wasn't good enough, or that I needed to be a certain way to be a leader, and I didn't feel I could measure up. So going through a couple of the programs with that really helped me to let that go and know that, yeah, I am a leader and I can do these things. So it challenges you, and they say, all the growth happens outside of your comfort zone. So investing in yourself is a really good way to be able to push yourself outside of the comfort zone. And and then you get to be brave, and you get to really demonstrate to yourself that, yeah, I am worthy. I can do this. And I yeah, I'm worthy. Just plain and simple. I am worthy to be a business owner. I am worthy to do the work, the inner work that I need to do in order to become a leader of my company, to be someone who is respected in my community. And that requires doing some inner work a lot of times. It's We all have stuff. We all have stuff that happened when we were really young or maybe later on. And we need to learn how to be able to let some of that go, learn from it, but ultimately let it go and step into the version of yourself that you want to be. And I'll just give you one last quote before I go on to some other stuff here today, but one last quote. And this is from Warren Buffett, who is a billionaire investor. And he knows a thing or two about growing companies, about growing wealth. He is a really smart guy. They don't call him the Sage of Omaha for nothing. And so he said, invest in as much of yourself as you can. You are your own biggest asset by far. And that's it. If you have the gumption to decide that you are going to be a business owner, you are an entrepreneur, you are going to provide a product or service for someone else in this world, then you owe it to yourself to invest in yourself first, because ultimately the business starts with you. So do that. Be smart about it. Do your due diligence about a particular investment, but know that, oh, I know the point I was going to make is that when you do step out of your comfort zone and you do make an investment in yourself, the universe pays attention, and the universe, more oftentimes than not, will respond, and more opportunities will come your way. I have had that happen. And in fact, yeah, I've had that happen before in my life, where I invested in something and then some other opportunity came along that I was totally not expecting. And it's a wonderful thing when that happens. All right. I think I've said enough on that subject today. Not exactly, though, because I'm going to share with you. I wanted to find, I love one of the things that is my uh, part of my spiritual journey, but also part of my daily practice and helping me to be able to be a better person every day, is I read the daily word from Unity. And I wanted to find a message that would go along with this subject today. So I searched investment just to see if anything would come up. And I didn't really find one I liked. So I thought about maybe belief instead. And so I found one called self-assurance. This was the word. And this is an oldie. It's from October 31st of 1950, before I was even born. That's how old this one is. But I love this message, though, and I think it's going to be very helpful for you. So the affirmation is, guided by God's love and wisdom, I walk in self-assurance. Let me say that again. Guided by God's love and wisdom, I walk in self-assurance. And it says, do you hesitate to act upon your own judgment? Do you waver in self-doubt? We say to you, believe in yourself, trust yourself. You have every reason to believe in yourself. God created you as an individual. You have his spirit within you to guide you, to sustain you. You have a divine purpose to achieve in life. You have the discerning ability to determine what those purposes are, and you have the ability to accomplish them. If you waver in self-doubt, remember God's spirit within you. Remember the uniqueness of your life purposes. Remember that you are sustained and guided by the love and wisdom of God himself. Remember that you can discern, that you can execute. Remember that your judgment is good judgment, judgment that will carry you as an individual forward in growth and accomplishment. Believe in yourself, trust yourself, walk in self-assurance. And then the scripture reading is one I'm sure you've heard before. It's from Genesis 1:27. God created man in his own image. So the reason I chose this today is because if you doubt that you are worthy of investing in yourself, don't doubt that, because you're not in this alone. You're not going to be going through this workshop yourself. You have God by your side. God is always with you. God is within you. You are of God, by God. And know that God is with you every single day, or spirit, source, whatever term I still use the word God. That's what I grew up with. That's what I'm most familiar with. But use whatever feels good to you. But just know that you are not alone, and you are so worthy because you were created in this image of perfection. You are perfect, and you're worthy of everything that you want. So there you go. That's what I wanted to share with you today. If you do ever want to chat about any of this, I am always open. My door is open. And you can reach out to me at engagewithgloria.com, and I would love to have a chat about it. It would be, I'm not going to sell you on a program unnecessarily, I should say, but let's just have a conversation. So that's all I wanted to say about that. And I want to also share with you today something that is my other part of my spiritual practice, and that's something that I enjoy sharing with you on the podcast. And that is something called light language, which is a sound healing message that I channel from higher realms. And what I do when I work with clients is I find out where they have challenges, and I always set the intention that the message that you receive is going to be something that will assist you in that, and that will be for your soul's highest good. And if you are listening to this podcast somewhere today and you want to be able to stay for the end and listen to this light language, I do encourage you to not be driving a car while you're doing this, to go pause this, come back when you can just sit and listen to it, and just be able to allow the sounds, the syllables, the melody that comes through to just speak to your heart and your soul, because it is something that your brain won't necessarily understand, but it is, I speak and sing a language that was something that we spoke before we came into these bodies. And so it's not necessarily something that your brain can translate, but just know that your heart and soul are getting the message. And the message I want to share with you today, and I'm going to ask my guides to share, is one of trust, knowing that you can trust yourself, know that you are worthy of investing in yourself, and that also whatever you receive, whatever you hear today, will be for your soul's highest good. 𝗀𝗀𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗀𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗀𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗂𝗵𝗂 𝗂𝗵𝗂 아니어놓고 𝗂𝗵𝗁 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 𗀵𝗵𝗁 아이아노케 허서요도구이하 세코요가요나카테 에코요소후 에코요토우쇼토 하사카요노키카 아에호토후야 호키카 하시요토후헤 오코산요코히 하요토후 소요토코샤카 오늘요또 딴뜨리야타카 식년노콜리에바 어떻게야샤쿠 티야토쿠 가요투 가요투샤노 하코요투히하 에코쇼요노쿠후 하리에소쇼노후 하쿠시코노 알리에노콜리에바탄크시카데케야토토 안나크리아톤토 키샤타크리아구마나키카 헤카토코리아파탄코샤카타키 언나크리아와pan티샤코쇼코타케아타. We are complete today. Thank you so much for being with me today on another edition of Live, Love, Engage. I'm so grateful for all of you who are regular subscribers. Thank you so much for doing that. And if you are new here, I am glad you tuned in, and I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll subscribe and or watch. I do share these live on Wednesdays on social media, and then the audio goes out on the following week. So actually, it's going to be going out on Friday. Oh, that's right. I've changed things around now. So this episode will go out on Apple and all the other podcast platforms on Friday. And I also want to just realize that I'm not sure I made this clear. If you ever want to have a private light language session, I do them over Zoom. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I am able to do it with you. You can book a session. I have listing on the directory 𝗲𝗵𝗁. And if you go to 𝗲𝗵𝗁/Gloria, you'll be able to, you can even just start off with booking a free consultation. Or if you want to just go ahead and schedule a time, I would love to work with you. And oops, there we go. And that's going to do it. I think that's going to do it for this edition of Live, Love, Engage. And as always, I encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage